Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we are in San Pedro, California today, and right behind me is the USS Iowa. And we're going to take a walk on the ship and see what we can see. This should be kind of fun. Let's go. So I was just walking by some of the people that they're honoring here, and our hometown hero, Doris Miller, is here, telling his story here too. Right, so we are aboard, and this is showing some of the different types of shells that were fired from the ship. Those are pretty good sized shells. That would hurt. Alright, so this gives you the stats. It's 887 feet long, 108 feet wide, 37 feet below the water level, 174 feet to the top, and displaced 57,500 tons of when it's fully loaded. Complement in the 80s, 65 officers, 1445 enlisted, plus 58 Marines. World War II complement was close to a total of 2,800 due to the great number of anti-aircraft guns being fired. So these are the main forward guns. There's actually 3 of them here and 3 of them up top there too. Look at the size of that shell. That would ruin your day. So here we are at the bow. These are the systems that control the dropping of the anchors. The anchor chains are all stowed below. They go around this little gearbox here and go down. Look at how big that chain is. That is one massive chain. That's my hand, just for reference here. So yeah, you wouldn't want to get tangled up in that. That would rip you up. Check out the bell up there. Here's a little bit of information about the anchor. The anchors weigh about 30,000 pounds. Each of those chain links weighs 128 pounds. That actually seems really light to me. I would have thought they would have been 3 or 4 times that. Each link, that's what each link weighs. And I guess there's 1,000 links. And each of those links is a little bit more than a foot. So I guess it makes sense that 1,000 links is about 1,080 feet long. And this is anti-aircraft weaponry, M2 50 caliber. And it looks like the bullets were just kept in the box here and fed into the weapon, and yeah, they're not letting you move it around a whole lot, but you could sit and aim it that way. Yeah, so these are the shells that were fired from this weapon, and I've seen enough military movies to realize that this is the powder that goes in there. And so basically that thing is just a solid piece of brass or iron or whatever it is, but this thing is the thing that creates the bang, and they slide them in behind the bullet, and they light the powder charge, and that's what projects or propels the round out of the shell. These things had a range, in some cases miles, that you could fire. Look at that. 1,900 pounds flying at you from 2 miles away. That would do some major damage to your to whatever you hit. See, a lot of these things I don't think had charges in them. It was just a heavy projectile that was designed to blow holes in things. But that actually looks like it probably had a charge in it. That probably exploded when it hit. Alright, so I'm standing corrected here a little bit. Apparently this thing here is just a dummy. It's for practice and for practicing loading and unloading. Now on the other hand, this one here had a nuclear tip, so 15 to 20 kilotons. That's about the size of the bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So here's an example of the shell and then the powder kegs or whatever they call those that had the powder in them. And like I said, that provided the accelerant to move the charge. Now that's chained off in there, but it kind of makes me think, because there's an arrow this way, that maybe that's just an out and they don't want me going in here yet. We'll get to see that from another angle at a later time, so we'll go check that out later. And since this is the where it says the tour route is, let's go in here. This is kind of like walking in that mine I was in up in Sacramento there. Gotta keep your head down. So that's where they wash the dishes in there. Gotta do that when you're serving food to a lot of people. Officers' galley. So some photos. That's the officers' galley. Shakedown cruise during World War II, March 1943. Got to do that. Get a new ship there. You got to take it out and make sure it works before you put it into battle. During World War II, the Iowa class carried the greatest anti-aircraft battery in the Navy. USS Iowa after departing Tokyo Harbor and the surrender ceremony at Japan. And after that it headed directly to Long Beach, which is where we are now basically. And I guess the Iowa was still used in the Korean battle and during the Cold War. Oh, that's kind of a cool picture. There's the Iowa docked here in its current location, and the space shuttle's flying over. It's probably the same space shuttle that flew over Disneyland. So I remember that was big news the day that happened. Wow, this is some of the places that it's gone. It's been all over the world. Through the Panama Canal, all the way over here. Japan, Korea. Wow, what a great picture this is. This is an overhead view of the Iowa firing its guns. And look, you can see the shockwave in the water from the explosion. How insane is that? Look, there's a port down to one of the lower decks. That's one steep ladder. You want to be careful, you'll fall off of that. And here, it doesn't really say what this is, but this seems like it's more decorated than your average crew quarters. So this is probably like a meeting room or captain's quarters or something like that. Yeah, this seems more consistent with crew quarters. I guess this was his quarters. Commander. So yes, commander's stateroom. Even that wasn't a 5-star hotel, was it? And the officer's restroom. So another crew quarters. Based on the uniform I see here, I'm guessing this is one of the officers' crew quarters. Still not a whole lot of luxury, huh? They do get a room with a view though, so that's better, I guess, than a lot of people got. Boy, if you're afraid of heights, you wouldn't want to look down that hole. That's probably about 40 feet to the bottom there. Okay, yeah, I'm looking a little closer here. There's a crane here, so this is how they load the gunpowder down into the lower levels. You got this crane, it just goes right down there, a long way down. Another example of crew quarters here. Once again, I suspect this is probably an officer's quarters here. You know, single private room. Look at the uniform. Alright, here's a little display here that shows where this ship actually got hit. You can see the arrow here where the impact happened. And you can actually see the arrow on the wall up there where it happened. Now these things, when you hit a ship like this and damage it, the priority is to get it back in working order as quickly as possible. So they quickly repair this thing and get it so they can continue to fight. But check that out. Alright, so this is called a stereo optical rangefinder. Basically, you have two telescopes, one here and one here, and you sight your target in there, and then you rotate this little knob until the image kind of comes together, and at that point it'll tell you how far it is. So I'm going to look at that boat out there and I'm going to see if I can figure out how far away that is. Alright, so I was able to aim at that boat, and that boat says, the rangefinder says it was 580 feet away. That's probably pretty close. That's about the length of 2 football fields. Alright, so they call this a 40 millimeter saluting gun. I guess they don't actually fire anything. It's just for firing blanks during ceremonial salutes, but I guess it made a big flash. Hey, at least I can stand up straight in this section. Looking in here, and this just seems an area where they stow a bunch of stuff. But I don't know how authentic this is, because that looks like an Amazon package down there. I'm pretty sure they didn't have Amazon during World War II. So a little display here that shows the individual flags. They used to communicate with different ships by using this coded system here to communicate messages. Now actually there's some of them up there, so let's see if we can figure out what it is. I'm guessing it says Iowa. That would just be my guess. Alright, so this actually clears it up a little bit, because I was looking, it didn't actually say Iowa, but I guess each flag or each boat is given its own code name, and this is NEPM, and that's the flags that are up there. And I guess if they use NEPM, then everybody knows what it is. Okay, so this is called the flag bridge, and basically what this is, it's a section designed for like visiting officers and admirals and stuff like that, and they would hang out here versus being actually in the real bridge where the actual boat operations are taking place. So this was just kind of a separate bridge for like I said, high-ranking officers to basically feel like they were in command when they really weren't. So this is just kind of a briefing area, I guess, where these officers would hang out, where they could get briefed on what was going on the actual ship. It smells old in here. Signal light for communicating between ships. I think you open this and close it, and you can do Morse code to other ships. At least that's what I've seen in all the movies I've seen. So this is called the conning tower, and basically this is where a lot of the operations of the boat took place. You can actually see that's where they steered the ship right there, and the whole thing was right in the center there, and inside this big thick wall, so that would discourage the enemy from firing at the command center and trying to destroy the ship that way by wiping out the command. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that when they're in here behind what looks like probably about 15-16 inches of concrete. Look at all this vintage tech. And that was basically the conning tower officer's view of the whole world, just through these little holes here. This thing's old and creaky. And of course it isn't a battleship unless it's well branded. So I keep getting higher and higher up here on the deck. Yeah, a while ago we were way down there. Got a pretty good view of the boat from here, though. Probably a good place to steer the boat if you had to, or at least see what's going on here. You could just see some captain or some crewmate out here with binoculars looking off at the horizon, figuring out if there's any danger out here. Oh, that must be, I saw what looked like a periscope inside that conning tower thing that we looked at. I'm guessing this is the outside of it. So the person inside there can see what's happening anywhere, basically by rotating that thing around. It's like a periscope on a submarine. Turn off radar set before approaching within 5 feet of this antenna. There's kind of a funny story about that. It turns out that early radar that they used during like World War II created heat. In fact, it was a discovery that there was a heat coming from the radar that actually led to the invention of the microwave. You may recall way back, microwaves used to be called radar ranges. And it all started with something like this because they discovered some guy apparently was standing next to one of these things, and he had a candy bar in his pocket, and when he pulled the candy bar out, it had melted from the radar. So that's obviously what's going on here. It probably gets a little bit hot here. Alright, this is the cruise missile launch system here. So we all heard about the cruise missiles. This ship was updated in the 80s with the latest technology, and part of that was cruise missile technology. You remember the cruise missiles were the ones where you could literally aim the thing down the chimney of like a building, and or in a window or in a door or something like that. They were so accurate. Alright, this was another modernization that took place. This is a, they refer to it by the acronym SRBOC, SRBOC. And basically it just, it fired chaff and stuff that would confuse incoming missiles. So if somebody fired at them and had, intelligent weapons, this would confuse those weapons and make it hit all the shrapnel that this stuff fired rather than hit the boat. Another compass here, I think. Hard to tell. This is definitely not one of those places you want to go if you have difficulty dealing with very steep stairs. It's a little easier to go up the stairs and come down. It's kind of nerve-rattling coming down. Now it doesn't say specifically what this is, but I see a little warning sign here. I guess this was a harpoon fuel or harpoon missile launcher, because this says what to do in the event of a fuel leakage. Shut off power to the launcher, report leak to the supervisor, and clear unnecessary personnel and ignition sources. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Alright, this is kind of interesting. This is the business end of a Tomahawk missile launch system. So it looks like they put 4 Tomahawk missiles in here, and then they could tip this thing up and fire them. And that's what it looks like leaving the box right there. It's a harpoon missile. I guess that was launched in something similar. And this is the other end. I'm guessing this is where they load the missiles in. Although I don't really see a lot of room in here for maneuvering these things around here. Although maybe that's a crane. I don't know. I'm not sure how exactly you get it in here. Maybe it's one of those things that they come with the missiles already installed. But there's 2 of them here. There's this one here. 2. And like I said, they're constantly modernizing these things. So this is a harpoon missile launcher, and actually there's a harpoon missile right there. And they come out of there like gangbusters. Alright, so this is the 5-inch 38 caliber twin mount upper handling room. So this is firing shells like that, and I guess they're lifted up top to the firing deck, and yeah, it looks like this is probably how they aim the weapons here, because they can adjust the height and the angle that they fire at. That's really cool. Stick my head in here because I can get the camera in places that I can't necessarily go. They got me blocked off. I'm not allowed to go in here, but there's nothing that says I can't stick the camera in here, right? And you can see the gearing there to turn the turret. Oh yeah, this seems more like your typical crew quarters here. Yeah, you get your own little coffin here. Not a lot of privacy in here. And can you imagine sleeping 5 people in a place like this? Passageway to the other side of the ship. Authorized personnel only, so we'll abide by their rules here. Looks like a place to chill out and have something to eat. If there's only a couple of you. And I didn't know they had museums and stores on a battleship. Like I said, once again, very, very steep stairs. If you don't like regular stairs, you're going to hate these. It's almost straight down. Yeah, that's the slope of the stairs right there, just to kind of give you a little perspective. More crew quarters. And the chief petty officer's crew quarters. Yeah, he doesn't get to sleep in a little box. He gets his own room. I guess this is a little museum here. Japanese flag. USS Iowa, BB-61, Korea and Japan. Yeah, I figured that looked like that was going through the Panama Canal. That looks like the gates. .20mm rounds. The big stick is back. Yeah, that's a miniaturized version of the uniform, or they were enlisting children. Oh, here's the kitchen, also known as the Galley. Fresh from the bake shop, nice hot rolls. And the crew mess. So yeah, this would be where they pick up their food. I don't know if they'd come out this way or head that way. Perhaps if we walk around a little bit, that'll become a little bit more apparent. Look at this power distribution box. At least they believe in lockout, tagout. Another steep set of stairs, but not going down that one, so we will continue this way because that's where the arrow tells us to go. Alright, the kitchen here. Very important part. Actually, the bakery is what they say here. So make all the bread and all the muffins and all that good stuff. Oh, look at this. This thing's probably a mixer of some sort. Mixing up the dough. I guess this is where they store all the bread, and I guess this thing here is what cuts the bread. I guess that's sort of important. You can't just give somebody a loaf of bread and say, here, enjoy. Alright, here's where the menu is. Saying when the meal hours are. Eggs to order, bacon, sausage, ham, and assorted breads, lunch, Creole soup, beef stroganoff, pork chop, Mexicana chicken with minestrone soup, Yankee pot roast, simmer knockwurst, dinner leftovers. Ah, weapons locker. Yeah, gotta have that too, in case you're boarded. Alright, for a second when I came around the corner, these two guys kind of freaked me out a little bit. But there you go, that's what you got. Looks like you got mac and cheese, French fries, corn on the cob, some sort of a stew, ham, muffins. Let's see, what do we got down here? An ATM. Guess they needed to give you some money so you can spend it in the gift shop, right? Meat and vegetable preparation area. Hey, at least they had Coca-Cola. Gotta remind them what you're fighting for, right? Coffee maker. Definitely important on places like this. Okay, here now we're getting to the mess where the crew got to eat. All the personality of a prison, huh? In memory of the 48 men who lost their lives in the service of their country in No. 2 turret of the USS Mississippi while at target practice off San Pedro, June 12, 1924. One man for each star in our flag. Long may it wave. Alright, in this case they've taken one of these powder bags, powder kegs, whatever, and open it up so you can see the inside here. Shown here with a red quilted black powder pad, removed for clarity, an unopened powder bag, and an open bag reveals the pallet arrangements. So yeah, closed and open. I guess they call those trim pellets. Alright, this is a damaged hatch cover. Apparently there was an explosion in one of the turrets in 1989. And it damaged this door to the point where they've put it here and let us see it. Insane. I'm guessing that's what they're supposed to look like. But this one's all kind of caved in. And I guess this is the fan motor controller from turret 2. And you can see the damage there. Holy cow, check that out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be flat. Now this section here kind of shows the history of battle at sea with different kinds of vessels. Apparently flamethrower here for vessels getting too close to you. Some of the later ships before you got into what they called the ironclads. These are early submarines. I remember that during the Civil War, there were each side had a submarine. One kind of looked like that, and the other one kind of looked like that. And those were the first submarines in the world. Here's a really beautiful model of the USS Iowa in its heyday. 1 to 96 scale. So every 1 foot equals 96 feet. Look at the work on that. Amazing detail. Alright, so if those guns on the main deck in the front there were open, this is what the inside of it would look like. You can see it's got this kind of curved pattern in it, and what the goal on that was to to cause the shell to spin, because when it spun it became more stable and went in one direction. Otherwise they tend to wobble. You never know where they're gonna go. Alright, so yeah, we're in the gift shop now. This is all the USS Iowa stuff that you can get. I actually think I want to find like a USS Iowa hat, because that's kind of cool. Kind of maybe something like that. But I don't know. I want to see maybe if they got like a black one. You know, that looks that's kind of the wrong color here. At least what I think of when I think of like a hat for a vessel like that. Check this out. They got hot sauce looking like hand grenades. Yeah, that's probably not something you'd want to bring back on an airplane, right? Yeah, see, something like that. That's what I'm looking at. I think I'm going to get one of those. Now we're at the back of the vessel, and they got more of these big guns back here. And I'm just going to kind of walk that way. Compare the size of this thing, which is massive enough as it is, to this cruise ship that's right next to it. Or these cargo carriers. Big boats. So I think we're kind of coming to the end of our tour today. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad John suggested this, and I really enjoyed kind of checking this place out. I hope you did too. So I think that's all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.